Welcome back to Spaz on Tech. We're going to continue our journey with Sveltekit and Tailwindcss and start to add some other components to the page that we made in the last episode. If you haven't seen the first episode, I do highly recommend it if you haven't started a Sveltekit app. Even if not, you can pull down the repository, which will be linked in the description below, and jump to the tag of version 0.1, which will get you to the end of what episode 1 was, which is pretty basic, which was a simple page with some content and some responsive design elements. Today we're going to add in some new pages. We're going to add in a top navigation bar that is mobile friendly, and even add in a small just copyright on the bottom as an actual component instead. That way, if we want to do things later with that lower nav, we can do something else with it. So let's at least get into our project. We're going to get this up and running. So we'll just start the development server right now. And we're going to do a devron -- open. And that'll fire up. Oops, I'm in the wrong. Nope, that should be it. npm run dev. Don't do the command backwards. It doesn't work, apparently. All right, here we go. All right, so we're fired up. This is where we left off with our page. And it does do the responsive pieces. Great. So what are we going to do now? So let's go back to a whiteboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to now add 2 new components. So we are going to actually add a nav bar. We'll also put an icon up here and the name of the site. And then we'll also put a footer down on the bottom and lock that in down there. So we should be good to get started here. So I'm going to launch Neovim. So let's go up to our development environment. And we'll launch Neovim. And the first thing I'm going to do is let's just jump to the layout file to see what we have here. The only elements we have currently still here is just this one div and the gradient that covers the entire page, and then our slot. So I'm going to add a few more elements here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to insert this a couple times here, and we'll do a div times 3 to get 3 additional divs. This will give us the top and the bottom sections for us. So we'll fire those up and get some divs. I'm going to just for ease, I'm just going to type slot and remove the slot to here. We'll get rid of these extra clear rows here. And this is going to be where our header goes. This is going to be where our footer goes, and we'll make components for those and leverage them. But right now you can already see they're already in the at least appropriate locations. We have a header and we have the footer location. It's not exactly where I want it today because we really want that footer on the bottom. So there's some things we have to do to this layout to get that set up. The first thing we're going to do is turn this into a flex and a flex call. And this is all Tailwind again, but we'll add those 2 pieces. The only other one we should have to edit right off the bat to get this to sort of look the way we want to is the middle div. And what we're going to do to that middle div is we're going to make it have a margin bottom auto, which will make it expand this whole section. Now, if I save this, as you can see, footer moved all the way down to the bottom already. So we're already in a nice starting spot at this point in time. So we're good to go to start building components. Let's go ahead and just quickly build out the header. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to create a new file, and it's going to be in the source directory, and we're going to create a components directory, and in there I'll do a nav.svelte. And this will give us a new empty file. So we'll go to source. Now we have a components directory, and the only thing in there right now is nav. So we'll come in and we'll start building out a navigation. So in this case, we're going to have a nav element. Inside that nav, I want a div. And inside of that, I want 2 additional divs. And the reason I'm doing this is what I want is a logo on the left side and a menu on the right side. And by having those 2 divs nested, I can do some formatting and layout to make this look good. So we'll get this generated out, and we'll just say this is where the logo is going to go, and this is where the menu is going to go. and we saved that. We don't have this yet in our layout, so let's jump back to the layout. And what we're going to do here is we are going to import a new thing called nav from, and this will come from components, and it'll be nav. And then instead of having this text header here, we will actually just insert our nav element, like so. And we'll go ahead and write that out. Now, anytime you change the layout, the chances of this auto-updating is very slim. So you can see it still says header here. So if we do this and we refresh, now you can see we have logo and menu. So now we're getting our component in. This allows us to keep this component information in its own file, and we can update it. Once we update it there, it'll update automatically. The layout does need to reload occasionally, so we did have to do a refresh on the browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump back to our nav, and we're going to start styling this up. So the first thing we're going to do is let's get this, let's have this get a background to it. And we'll do a background of, let's do green, and we'll do like 700, so it's darker than the stuff that's there. And now we can see that we've got a nice green background. We'll also just change our text to white and our font to bold to add some styling to it. And we're now there. So that's pretty good. We still need to do a couple more things to get this to lay out the way we want, because this is not laying out currently the way we'd like to see it. So what we're going to do is our container div, we're going to turn into a flex. And then there's a way to justify, and we'll do a justify dash between. And what this does is it automatically moves everything to the outside. There's a couple other ones. You could do, I think center's another one, like so. And then that would just put everything in the center. But what we want for our layout is going to be between. And that already gives us a great start to our layout. Now we want to do some form of a logo for Moneymaker. And this really is going to be Moneymaker here. So we'll do Moneymaker. We'll delete the word here. And just to separate this out a little bit, I'm going to add let's just add we'll add a span here. Oops. That is not what I wanted to do. We'll add a span. This will be where the logo is going to go. And then we will add another span. And we're going to surround our other text with the end of that span there. So I'll just let it format itself automatically, and there we go. So we've got these two spans set up. So let's get a logo for this. What I'm going to use here is hero icons, and this just has 230 icons we can use. And I'll type in money, and we're going to grab this cash, and we're going to grab the SVG. And all we're going to do with that SVG is literally we're going to paste it in here. So let's first get this word out of here, and we will paste this in. And I will save it, and we'll come back to our page to see what we got. So now we've got our wonderful little money icon here. We do want this to sit side by side. So what we can do is we can add a class to the div that's its container, and we'll just make that a flex. And now it's side by side. And we can do whatever other additional formatting we want to do on those spans to really make these look the way we want. One thing that really irritates me very much in the default Prettier RC is the way it's doing this weird end tag. See how this end tag's hanging off? So I can fix this. What we're going to do is I'm going to go edit the Prettier, which is going to be in the root. So I think I might have to jump through some hoops to get to it. Because I don't think I can get to it this way. I might be able to get to it through the regular file editor. It's not letting me see the hiddens. That's all right. I should be able to. Let's see if it'll just let me in there like so. Nah, it's not going to let me in there like that. All right, let's just force the edit of .prettierrc. And we'll get out of here. We'll edit prettier RC. And we're going to add, there's a different way you can handle this. It's what is it? Bracket, same line. And we'll set that to true. And this is just going to tell anything that we talk to change its formatting to use that. So now if I rewrite my file, you can see Neovim, because I have that plugin for prettier in here, automatically moved all my end tags to the same line instead of creating a separate one. So I like that. I like that look a lot cleaner. It just makes life better for me. All right, so we're gonna do a couple things. I don't like the size of this icon. So we'll go ahead and change this to 12. Let me get my mouse out of the way here. And we'll change this to 12. So that's height and width. We'll save that. That makes that better. And then we'll also update the span, and we'll say that we want this to be text. Let's do a 2XL, and we'll save that. That looks pretty good. The other piece I think I want on here, let's see if I can do it on the parent. It'll be items center. And that does work for part of it. It's not working for my span down here. So I may have to also add it to this one. Like so. There we go. Now everything's lined up really nice. So we've got our nice menu. The other thing I sort of want, and I might be able to do this with just space X, is if I space X and we'll say 3, that's not working. So we'll add some extra space down here, P-3. That'll add some padding to it. And we'll do the same thing to our menu div just to give it a little bit more room. And we'll just P-3 it for now. So there, we got a little bit more room. I think we need the font size here a little bit bigger as well. So we'll do a text XL and save that. P3, let's maybe just move this up to a 4. Oops. Let's make that a 4. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Looks better. Excellent. All right, so let's now get in here and start creating some links. We don't have any other pages created yet, but we can always just go ahead and add in some more elements. So what we'll do is we're going to add on some elements. We're going to call these menu $, and I can then multiply that by 3. We're going to have a home, about, and contact is what we're going to start off with. So we'll do this. That'll spit it out. We'll need a slash here. We'll need, actually before we do that, let's add some styles to all of these because it'll just be a little bit easier before we get there. So what I'm going to do in my Vim config here is I'm just going to do a visual block and we'll do an insert into it. This will let me do this class tag. So we're going to do a class, and when we hover, I want the background color to become orange at 700. That'll give me the hover accent on it. That should be, I think that might be all I want to do to this maybe. I don't think I need to do anything else. I think that'll be good enough. Let's just get that done. We'll make this a slash. We're going to insert here. We'll call this will be the about. And then we'll have contact. We do need to add different text in here. So we'll end up making this one right here home. And this one will be about. And this one will be contact. And we'll go ahead and save that. And now we have 3 links. And if we click on about, it errors because we haven't built it, or contact. But we can click on home. And all of this is fully working. We can see, it looks like these pages are doing something with and that's just because the error message and the way that formatting is. So let's go ahead and build out these pages. And the way you add pages to Svelte or Sveltekit is you put another page file inside of the routes directory. So we will jump in here, and in source routes, we'll create an about.svelte. And we will also do a source routes, and we'll do a contact/svelte. And just by doing that, we should have resolved at least the page loading. So now it doesn't error. We just have no content on them. So now we have the capability to navigate to that folder. And we'll go to routes. And let's just quickly assemble some information onto the about page. So we'll create a div. And we're going to give it a background of white. And we'll rounded it so it has rounded corners. Probably actually should do, let's just do, I don't, because it'll be a single thing. I think that'll be all right. And then inside there, we'll have an H1, which will say about. And then at the same level as that, we will add a div that says this is the about page. Let's see if I got my syntax right for this. Should be fine. And it got close. It got close. It made this div actually exit all the way out. Wasn't exactly what I wanted, but we can fix that rather quickly. We'll just go to the end of the line here. And I should be able to paste that right there. Save the file. And if we go to about, we now have this here. So the one thing is it's a little tight. So we're going to want to do like a P4 or P3 on it and just push it down a little bit. We'll also want to add a margin as well to kick it down. And there we go. And we look pretty good. It's not bad. So we'll add more styling as we continue on our journey here, but we're just going to get a couple of our pages up and running currently. So this gets us the base navigation. The challenge is we still don't have a mobile first type of view, because if we had more menus, this gets really crowded really fast. So really right now, we've got a just pure regular navigation. So let's go work. Actually, we'll do one more thing. We'll make our contact. We'll go to our contact page and get that set up just to have basic content on it as well. So we'll do the same thing. We're going to create a div with background of white with rounded, a P3 and a M3, and that will have inside of it an H1 that says contact us. And then I think if I do just one, this will do the right thing, because this will be alongside of it. Then we'll create the other div and just say this is the contact form. And I should be able to do this. And let's see if I got that right. Nope, it still did the same thing, kicked out. I got to figure out what that syntax is for that, but we'll just delete that out. We'll go to the end, paste it in, we'll save it, and our contact page is set up just like the other one. The only thing I didn't do is we didn't do any good formatting on the fonts. We'll fix those later. All right, so we're going to go back to just the home page, and let's jump in to our navigation bar again. So what we want to do is, let me jump over here and walk through what we're going to do in our whiteboard session here. So when it becomes mobile or a small screen, we want to have the little hamburger. We'll keep the logo up here, but we want this, and we want the menu items to show up on a little drop down. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to need to create a secondary menu and also a button that hides or shows based on the size of the screen. So how can we do that? Well, let's first get ourselves going on the next steps of this puzzle. So the first thing we're going to need to do is really the easiest thing to do is we want this menu to typically be hidden. We don't want to see this existing menu unless our screen size is medium, and then we'll say block. So if we save that, that should give us the ability to hide that menu so it goes away. So at this point in time, we have a working hiding menu. And just contrary to that, what we also need is we need another div with similar but almost the reverse logic. So we're going to do a div. We're going to make this a block with an MD. I'll have to type in some stuff here because I don't know that all those are going to work. So let's just get everything going here. And I don't think I need text on this. Let's just get this out, and then we'll say mobile button, because we're going to need a button here. And what we want to happen here is we want this to be a block. Oh, we already had block. But we want the block, we want this to, on a medium screen, we want it to hide itself. So we'll save that, and we'll see now if this works. And when we come small, you can see now there's the mobile button. Great. So to make it better, let's get rid of these words here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to hero icons and type in menu. And I'm going to grab this little hamburger looking menu here. And we'll just copy that SVG. And we're going to put this inside of a button. So we'll create a button element and close that up. And we'll just, right here, we'll paste that information in and we'll save this. So what we should see on screen now when we change the size is we should get our little menu icon. Excellent. That's pretty good. I think I want it just a hair bigger. So we'll just change the size of this and change it to 8. Oops, not that many 8s. That would be a very large button. Let's delete this and set this to 8 and just save it and just see if I like that size. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks usable. Great. So now we have a button. Well, that still isn't done for us at this point. We're going to need to add another div for our secondary menu. So we'll need another menu that shows up. So similar philosophy, but we'll have to write a little code for this. We're going to want a div, and this div will basically be a drop down. We'll need 3 more divs inside of it, which will be the items themselves. And this will give us the ability to create this sort of mobile menu. So we will say 3, and we'll exit out of here, and we'll generate that. All right, and this will be, and it looks like we just created the one div. We didn't create a surrounding div. Let me undo that quick. Let me go undo. Yeah, this should have been this, and that should give us what we want. There we go. And this will be where we put home. This will be where we put about. This will be where we put contact to get our 3 menu items, right? So we'll just save that. And what we have is we have 3 items that come down like so. Perfectly fine. We'll want to do some spacing. We'll want to do a little bit more changes to how that looks. But generally speaking, it gets us where we want. Now, we don't want it showing all the time. So here's where we're going to use some of those classes again to get everything set up. So we're going to say we want this to be hidden. Actually, we'll make this flex first, hidden, and then a medium, we'll turn it into a block. Oops, actually, that's the backwards one. That's not the one we want. The one we want this is going to be the one that we want, hidden and medium. So it'll be, let's just call this mobile menu so we can find it later. We'll make it hidden at medium size, and we'll just always say hidden here too. And then we're going to make it text gray 900, font bold just to give it some styling. And we'll up the text size to XL for all of the elements, okay? And at that point, right now, we have no menu, right? The menu is gone. So what we need to do now is wire up so that we can have a button here that when we press it, that menu actually shows. and then that it'll go away. All right, so we still need to make these links. So what I'm going to do is really quickly, we are going to make these into A tags. And actually what I did is I probably don't need these divs actually. So let's just get rid of these divs really quick. We'll get into an insert here, and what I want to do is I want to do 3 A tags with menu dash. We'll just do menu dash, or just do menu and $sign for this. And we're going to make 3 of them, like so. We'll get our slash in here. We'll do a slash about here, just what we did above. I probably could just copy them, actually. And contact here. We'll delete this word. We'll make this home. Make this about. We'll delete this word, and we'll make this contact. Like so. All right, so we have the right information. As always, we should add alt tags. I'm not going to do that currently, but we would add alt tags if we're doing this for production. So we've got these buttons, or we've got this menu here. If we come up to the, let's go up to the top of the page, and we're going to go ahead and start building out some logic to show and hide this. So what we're going to do, and then we have to do this because of Svelte specifically, we're going to add a script tag here, and then close this off. And there's one thing we're going to have to do. We're going to have to import onMount, and this is because we're working inside of a component. If we were not working inside of a component, if we're just doing this in the layout page, I believe we could just get away with it. But because we have to sort of intercept an event here for the mount, to put our code inside so it'll actually execute appropriately. This is the easiest way to do this. So, and we're going to get this all fired up, and here's where we're going to write our code, and we'll close this up. So we have all our closing tags right, and we're going to create a constant called button, and we're going to do an equal sign, and we're going to do document, and we're going to do a query selector. And in the query selector, we can just look for a button because we have only one button on the page. And let's make this a constant, not a const. And we'll get this going. We need another constant for the menu because we're going to have to target that to do stuff to it. And we'll do a query selector here. And we called that mobile menu. So we can do this to load that into that variable. Great. So we have that done. The next piece of the puzzle, we're going to actually take the button and add an event listener to it. We're going to listen to the click event. And once that, oops, got to put a comma here. Once that click event gets triggered, we'll start our next block. And all we should have to do here is mess with the class list, and we are going to toggle it, and we're going to make it hidden. So this will turn hidden on or off. And we've got one more closing bracket we need to do here. I believe that should be all right. There's the formatter kicked in. And I believe we may actually have working code at this point. So again, what we're doing is we're loading the button, loading the menu into a variable, and adding an event listener to click on the button, and adding or toggling on and off hidden on the element that we listed as menu, which is this mobile menu. So this lower menu should arrive and disappear based on that. So let's see if this actually works. So right now we have our normal menu. I can go to About, I can go to Contact, I can go to Home. I'm going to scroll over, and we get a little hamburger button. If I click it, our menu shows up. Now, we have an issue here because our menu is not rendering in the appropriate direction yet. So we'll have to add some additional styling to it. But we actually do have a working menu now. It should vanish when we expand it, and it does, right? So we're going to do some additional styling on this. I don't think we want text gray. I don't think that's going to work for us. So let's make this white. We'll get rid of this. I'd also like this to have a background color, and let's go for green, and let's just go a little bit lighter. So like maybe 700. And let's see what that looks like when it comes out. Okay, that's all right. But now we need to also get this menu to properly lay out. So, and it is not going in the appropriate fashion right now because it is not flexing itself and going all the way down. So let's see if we just do a flex on that. Does that fix it? That's not helping right now, and we will, let's flex call maybe, because I want these to stack. There we go. There we go. That gives us what we're looking for. The other thing I'm going to do is just to give us some room, I'm going to pad the Y by 4. Let's see if that gives us enough room. It does not. So maybe, did I actually save that? I think so. Let's do a margin of 4 as well. Oh, yep, we don't want that much margin. So it's not margin that's helping us here. We do want, I do want the elements to have a little bit more room. Let me think about this. We also didn't add the hover color, but so let's just go add the hover color quick to that too. We'll get that out of the way. So we'll come in here and we'll add a class of hover, and we will do text dash orange dash 700. And we'll get that in there, and then there. That way we get our hovers in. And then the only thing we got to figure out yet, oh, and I accidentally added an additional quote, which we didn't need. And I took one out of this one, actually. There we go. Back to working. All right, so we need to get a little bit more space on these items. It's the one thing that's not necessarily laying out the way we want it to. So I think this is a good spot for us to use the space. So if we do space X3, that might give us what I want. No, not exactly. Let's see if there's another way of doing this that would give us what we're looking for. Yeah, probably the easier way is just to add it to the elements instead. So let's just get rid of all of this. And all we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll insert a padding Y of 4. And we'll just add that to each element for now. I'll see if I can find a better way of doing that in the future, but for now, that'll definitely give us what we want. And we probably want this a little bit of an X on there too. So what I'll do is I'll just take out the Y portion, and that should give us a little bit more room on that left-hand side. So there we go. So now you can toggle open the menu, close it, and you can also still resize the window and everything still works. And let's just validate that. We can go to About, Home, and we can go to Contact. On the mobile menu, we can go to About and Contact, and we can toggle it closed. Now we might want to do some additional stuff later where we click on it and it closes the menu. Might be beneficial. Right now we have to toggle it, but that makes a nice little basic mobile menu in rather not much time. So, and not much code. I mean, we have, oops, don't look at my Vim that way. That's horrible. Don't ever scroll in Vim in the terminal session. But we don't have that much code actually. The spans are the biggest pieces of code that are in here actually, are these spans. Let's get this on a new line. Like so. Yeah. So get our formatting a little bit better there by moving things around. But yeah, I mean, we just have a mobile menu, we have a regular menu, and we hide them based on the size of the screen. And then we toggle the mobile menu version open or closed based on that. So maybe we'll add some animation down the road to that menu and everything else. But at this time, there's your fully working mobile menu for you. So we added a couple routes, a couple new pages, and we've made some navigation to get to those, as well as that mobile menu. So on to next time, we'll add some additional stuff. I think right now the only thing we could maybe fix up really quick is the footer. So let's make another component for the footer. and works the same way. It's going to be in the source, components, and we'll call it footer.svelte. And then we'll navigate to it. And really all we're going to do here is we're going to add a div with some text in it. We'll give it a text of white and font bold. And inside of there, all we're going to do is a copyright and 2022 moneymaker. That way no one can steal our idea. We'll save that file out. Actually, we got to do this, and then we can save this file out. And we'll jump back to our layout, and we can do the exact same thing we did here. So if we go ahead and append, we're going to import. We'll call it footer, and we'll do it from component and footer, like so. And then in this bottom div, all we have to do is delete the word, and we can insert footer just like so, and save it. And then again, because it is the layout, we will have to refresh. And as you can see here, we've got the text down here on the bottom. We may want just a quick format on that. So let's go back to the footer file. We will text center, which will move the text to the center. We'll fix the font bold, which should be font bold, and do this. And the only other thing I probably will do is let's make a background on this of orange, and let's go all the way to 900. Actually, 900 looks a little bit too much, so let's make it 700. And just to give it a little bit more space, we can set the height on this to 12. And save it. And there we get a little bit more space. So that's really all you have to do to get a mobile menu in place. I'm hoping this helps you as we're on our journey through building Svelte and Tailwind CSS applications going forward. But so far, we are making waves in making this website. Again, we're going to play with the color palettes and stuff. I just wanted to show off some capabilities and features so far of what this platform can do. I'd actually probably change the background a little bit lighter, but I like the gradient idea. I like having that there. And we do need to get some additional content and eventually dynamic content as well. So until next time, this is Spaz. I'm out. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that thumbs up and also subscribe if you want to get notified about when the next episode of our Svelte and Tailwind episodes come around. So I'll be working on these probably over the next few weeks, and we'll wrap this up probably by the end of this month, if not maybe early February of 2022. Thanks for watching.